First leg, and good evening, good morning, and good afternoon to all the participants who are currently present in webinar and joining us from Facebook and YouTube Live from different parts of the world. Please allow me to introduce myself. I'm Tenzin Legman, Assistant Program Coordinator at Tibet House, Cultural Center of His Holiness, the Dalai Lama, New Delhi. So to begin with, may I request everyone to kindly put your videos on and microphone on mute to avoid interruptions during the session. We are delighted to welcome you all to celebrate with us the celebration of Ganden Nyamchoe or Lama Tsong Khapa's Day, which is honored on 29th December 2021. That means today. So before we start with today's program, I would like to request Venerable Geshe Damdul, Director of Tibet House, Cultural Center of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, New Delhi, and all the staff members and the volunteers of Tibet House to kindly offer the auspicious kata, Tibetan traditional scarf, and light the lamp of wisdom to the portrait of His Holiness the Dalai Lama.
On Tuesday. Cool. Okay, welcome you all to Ganden Nyamchoe. And before we begin the process, as indicated by all the developers staff gathered here, we will offer the scarf and light to all the Bodhisattvas, and particularly to Lama Tsong Khapa on his Parinirvana day. With this in mind, for all of us, including myself, any such very good that we make such offerings. They clean up the altar, make offerings of light, scarf, incense, flowers, and so forth. That's going to be very significant for the reason that the purpose for which we're engaging in these activities, Dharma activities, will be more meaningful. So with this in mind, all Tibetan staff here will the office scarf. And meanwhile, I'm sure many of you have already done it. And meanwhile, just keep in mind that you do the proper visualization of making all these offerings to all Bodhisattvas on your behalf, on behalf of your two parents, all the family members, and all dear mother sentient beings.
Thank you all. Thank you, Keshala. Thank you all. So before we proceed with today's program, I would like to share a brief overview of Tibet House. Tibet House, Cultural Center of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, was founded in 1965 by His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama to preserve and disseminate the unique cultural heritage of Tibet and provide a center for Tibetan studies. Tibet House also has a museum of valuable Tibetan arts and artifacts, as well as a library. Tibet House regularly organizes lectures, conferences, exhibitions, film screening, and festivals throughout the year. These programs mainly focus on Indian, Tibetan, and Nalanda Buddhist history, science, religion, philosophy, art, literature, and culture, where it highlights the vital and evolving heritage of the Tibetan people. Tibet House also offers different courses on Buddhist philosophy. At present, our 4 years master course on Nalanda Buddhist philosophy has 360 students from 40 different countries, and our diploma course, which is of 1 year and is currently in the third batch, has 860 students from 41 different countries around the world. Tibet House also provides Tibetan language courses at the interval of every 4 months. Till date, 21 batches of students have completed the Tibetan language courses. For further information about Tibet House, please visit our website and social media. So we are now going to start the main program, and I request Venerable Geshe Tenzin La, founder of Menle Chamje, which means love and compassion of Madison Buddha, based in Mumbai, to kindly deliver the welcome address and give a brief overview or a short introduction about Menle Chamje Center.
Hello, everyone, and respected to Ganden Nyamchoe and Venerable Geshe Damdul. First, I would like to say thank you so much, Geshe Damdul, Director of Tibet House, Tinti Tamala, and Tinti Lengme, Coordinator of Tibet House, and all Tibet House staffs for the giving this opportunity to collaborate the Ganden Nyamchoe program with the Tibet House. So now let me introduce our center. Our center name is Menle Chamje Tibetan Buddhist Center. Menle Chamje is a Tibetan word. So it means love and compassion of medicine Buddha. So our center was established in 2018 in Mumbai, as suggested Venerable Namgyal from Australia. So after a few months, I met Venerable Geshe Damdul when Geshe visited Mumbai for the teaching. Since that time, Geshe has been support and guide us a lot. And in 2019, I requested to His Eminence Kundor Rinpoche to support and guide us. So since that time, Kundor Rinpoche also has been supporting and guide us a lot. Also, our Sangha members and all supporter. So today I would like to say thank you so much for all your support since that time and till now, today. And our center for study and practice Buddha Dharma, such as Nalanda tradition, Since 2018, we have been providing Buddhist philosophy, psychology, meditation, healing, and we provide different puja because some people request us to puja to remove obstacles, so on. So, main our center aims to revive Nalanda tradition as His Holiness wishes to revise Nalanda, ancient Nalanda tradition in India. So we also are trying as Holiness wishes. So Holiness, he has 4 commitment. So we also taking part of 4th commitment to revive ancient Nalanda tradition in India. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Venerable Geshe Tenzila. May I now request Mr. Bhaskar Baruaji, founder of Ngari Gatling, which means Joyous Garden for the 5 Sciences, based in Guwahati, Assam, to give a brief introduction about Ngari Gatling Center.
Thank you, Tenzin Lemona. Am I audible? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's indeed a big honor to be present here today on Lama Tsong Khapa Day, which Nari Gatsaling, we are present here not because of anything that we have done, but it's because of the kindness and grace of Venerable Geshe Dorji Damdul, who has been such a kind teacher and guiding us like children, since the time our Dharma Center was instituted back in 2014. I thank Geshe-la, I thank Tibet House, primarily also Tenzin Domala, for allowing us, for giving us the opportunity to be present here today as collaborators in this extremely auspicious program, along with our center from Mumbai. About Nari Gatsaling, just want to say a few words. Maybe some of you are already familiar with us and some might not be. It was conceived, the center was conceived back in 2014, when His Holiness the Dalai Lama had visited Guwahati for some programs. And he very kindly gave us the name of Nari Gatsaling, and he gave us the mandate of trying to preserve and promote the Nalanda sciences in Assam and the Northeast. 5 Nalanda sciences, which is a major, huge mandate, obviously, and a big, ambitious goal to follow, which we've been trying. But then since the pandemic, again, things started going a little wobbly, we had to give up our permanent center, our premises, and then we all went online. But then we started seeing the silver lining in the cloud because of these online programs, we have started connecting with hundreds of people like yourself. And now I think from based out of a small place like Guwahati, we are being able to reach out to as many people as possible. Again, primarily because of the kindness and guidance of Tibet House and Geshe Dorji Damdul. So we just hope for a brighter future ahead in terms of for fulfilling His Holiness's dream of propagating the Nalanda sciences in Assam and the Northeast, primarily also because of the reason that Assam is a place where a lot of the Nalanda masters were born and who were before going to Nalanda, they had started their practice from that Assam Bengal region. And unfortunately, all that heritage has kind of vanished as on date. But with everyone's blessings, maybe, and with the seed being planted now, maybe in the future, something brighter might happen over there. I would like to request our Member Secretary, Fariza Hussainla Yeshalamullah, to kindly put a small presentation we have, to put it on the chat of this program. So if anyone is interested, you can take a look at it and know further about us, because I'm not going to take more time into explaining everything about what's happening back there. So thank you again, and felicitations and all the best, and to have a very blessed Lama Tsong Khapa Day today, and also a very blessed New Year in 2022, where we can break through this pandemic and become normal one more time. I think we've all had enough of this, and we don't want to see any more of it anymore. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Tibet House, Tenzin Lamala, Tenzin Nomala, and Yeshala. As usual, my prayers at your feet. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Bhaskarla. And now, once again, I would like to request Venerable Geshe Lobsang Tenzin La to kindly give a brief introduction on Lama Tsong Khapa's life story.
Oh, thank you, Tenzin Nyamchoe, again me opportunity on this auspicious day to talk about Lama Tsongkhapa did in his life. So I think many of you know already who's Lama Tsongkhapa. So Lama Tsongkhapa is founder of Gelugpa tradition, Gelugpa school. So Lama Tsongkhapa was born in 1357 in the Tsongkha Valley of Amdo in northeast Tibet. At the age of 7, Lama Tsongkhapa went to live with the Choja Tudum Rinchen. The Choja Tudum Rinchen was first Guru of Lama Tsongkhapa, from whom Lama Tsongkhapa received many teachings and tantric empowerment. Having learned to read and write with great ease, Lama Tsongkhapa both studied and practiced meditation from a very early age. When Lama Tsongkhapa was 8 years old, he received ordination as a novice monk and was given the name Lobsang Khapa. At the age of 16, Lama Tsongkhapa traveled to central Tibet for study, where he studied with more 50 prominent teachers. Between 1374 and 1376, he concentrated on the perfection of Wisdom Sutra and on the 5 treatises of material, along with the many commentaries devoted to them. He could use good opportunity, intellectual training, and a wide knowledge with both Sutra and Tantra. During that time, Lama Tsongkhapa was already determined to combine scholarship with the practice of both Sutra and Tantra, and he continued to receive tantric empowerment from a number of important masters belonging to different traditions. From his 22nd year, he began to study intensively the works on valid cognition by Dignaga and Dhammakirti, and was deeply impressed and moved by efficacy of Dhammakirti's system of reasoning. For the next 11 years, Lama Tsongkhapa traveled from a monastic college to another, deepening his philosophical knowledge and giving teaching. At the age of 33, he met with the remarkable Guru. His name was Lama Umawa. The Lama Umawa has a vision of Manjushri, the embodiment of enlightened wisdom, which had changed his life. As a result of this vision, he took up practice related to Manjushri and eventually experienced Manjushri's constant presence. Lama Umawa became Lama Tsongkhapa's direct line of communication with the Manjushri as like the translator between Manjushri and Lama Tsongkhapa. At the latter, Lama Tsongkhapa could communicate with Manjushri directly himself. and he received important teachings and empowerment from Manjushri. One day, Manjushri was teaching to Lama Tsongkhapa about very important view, as a very subtle view. So when Lama Tsongkhapa said, "I don't understand meaning of this," so then Manjushri taught Lama Tsongkhapa, "You have to accumulate merit because your lack of accumulate merit. So therefore you don't understand." So therefore, in accordance with the Manjushri's instruction, Lama Tsongkhapa stopped his teachings and withdrew from other public activities to concentrate on a period of intense meditation. He was joined a retreat with the 8 students. They began practice of purification and accumulation of merit, reciting purificatory mandala, making prostration, and offering of mandala many 100,000 times. Lama Tsongkhapa simultaneously continued to study the most important texts dealing with the nature of reality. Lama Tsongkhapa also studied Tibetan medicine, astrology, and then all the great Buddhist scholastic subjects, including Abhidhamma, Vinaya, or moral ethics, or epistemology, or logic in Sanskrit Pramana, mathematical, and Vajrayana. Not only study, but also practice what he learned. Moreover, Lama Tsongkhapa wrote many books, so 18 volumes. He wrote texts about Abhidhamma, Vinaya, moral ethics, epistemology, logic, and mathematical Vajrayana. These books are our textbook in Tibetan monastic university. So I would say Lama Tsongkhapa was greater, very great philosopher, scholar, practitioner of Vinaya, and great yogi of Vajrayana. I can't talk all he did in his life in short time, but these are just brief on Lama Tsongkhapa's did in his life. Thank you.
Thank you, Geshe for your insights on Lama Tsongkhapa's fascinating and inspiring life story. I'm sure our participants have learned as much as I did from Geshe-la's talk. Thank you once again, Geshe-la. So we now have the director of Tibet House, Venerable Geshe Dorji Damdul, who will be taking over this session to speak briefly on the teaching on the foundations of all good qualities and undertaking the aspirational Bodhisattva vows.
Okay, Tashmitala, all of you. Thank you, Tinslemala, and thank you, Venerable Geshe Lobsang Tinsla, and Mr. Bhaskarji. And we have the Kundur Rinpoche with us here as our chief guest with us. So basically, just to make it very quick, that the this world, Omicron, clearly taught us the reality that the world is all interconnected. Everywhere in the world, all parts of the world, they're connected. And what we need is, before anything else, we need a sense of the feeling of joy, feeling of a security. And yet the reality has shown us that the life is not that easy. So with this in mind, we need to inspire the world, teach the world, including myself, that finally it is your compassion that guarantees that you are a happier person, that your family is a happier family, that the nation is a happier nation, and the world is more civilized world. So with this in mind, deliberately, we're trying to come together, like the Ngari Gazini Center in Assam, Guwahati, and Mele Chamze Buddhist Center in Mumbai. We are coming together to tell the world that our first task is, before Buddhism, Christianity, Hinduism, Islam, or Judaism, Baha'i, Zoroastrianism, and the Jainism and so forth, the first is the humanity, that we all should be harmonious to each other, that we all should be free from fears. Only when we come together, we can think of consoling each other. We can think of helping each other. So with this in mind, I'm so glad that Mr. Bhaskarji, his leadership, and then the Ishilhamala, Parizala, and then Chumgila, and many others, they were there to see the benefit of this great legacy of the Nalanda tradition. Compassion, universal compassion, and the wisdom of interdependency. So these things, seeing these values, so they wholeheartedly to the initiative to start the center and also to continue with this. And we have Geshe Samtinzila there in Mumbai. And I'm so happy right from the beginning. I've been hearing from Geshe Samtinzila that initially the most venerable, the Namgyal, he supported Geshe Samtinzila there. And then later, the Venerable Kundur Rinpoche, he jumped to help Geshe Samtinzila there. When the Kundur Rinpoche himself, very young and dynamic, and there to support Geshe Samtinzila is a greatly inspiring. And I really like to thank Kundur Rinpoche for supporting Geshe Samtinzila in the center there. And so this is where we learn from today what we're doing on Ganden Nyamchoe. The day Lama Tsong Khapa assumed Mahaparinirvana, what he said, one thing is that as I assumed the state of leaving the world, for sure there are going to be many who would long to see me and who would feel sad that they could not see me. For me, I have nothing more to do than to impart the teachings of the Buddha. And if you can imbibe those teachings, that is it. The purpose for the Buddha Shakyamuni appearing on this earth, that is the purpose for which all the great enlightened beings came on this earth. So our job is to embrace the wisdom of interdependency, how we're all connected, whether you are Buddhists, Muslim, Hindus, Jains, Christians, Baha'is, Zoroastrianism, Jew, it doesn't matter. Non-believers, it doesn't matter. We're all brothers and sisters. This spirit has to be cultivated. This one message. And then number two is the message of interdependency, the wisdom. The ignorance leads us to have complication even in the family, let alone the complications in your nation, in the world. Even in a small family of nuclear family, there's complications, all because of the ignorance, selfishness. So the message to be remembered today, as His Holiness the Dalai Lama this morning in his teaching to the public, he said the best way by which to remember Lama Tsong Khapa on this day of the Mahaparinirvana is to remember his teaching of the wisdom and compassion and to practice them in our day-to-day life. What do you mean by practice? To make sure that on that day-to-day life, we try to lit the light of the wisdom to the best you can, number one. Number two, say no to anger. Say no to anger. The first thing, if you talk about Buddhahood, or first thing is learn how to make your family happy. Husbands, how to make the wife happy. Wives, how to make the husband happy. the children, how to make the parents happy. That is the point. So with this in mind, given that we have another 1 hour, to be very precise, 56 minutes. So usually I need 2 hours for this, the Bodhichitta aspiration, undertaking this ceremony of the Bodhichitta vow, taking the Bodhisattva vow. I need 2 hours, but I'll make sure that we will do it very quickly in 1 hour. Okay, the 56, now 55 minutes. Okay, with this in mind, the setting a proper motivation. And I know that many of you were from various traditions, Theravada tradition, the Chinese tradition, Tibetan tradition, Vedanta Tibetan tradition, Sakya, Kagyu, Nyingma, Gelu, all the different traditions. The point is that what is so important is to always remember the Buddha Shakyamuni. Buddha Shakyamuni, with this in mind, just let us invoke the Buddha Shakyamuni and all the enlightened beings from the different traditions, and then Lama Tsong Khapa, and today the living Buddha, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, with us. Just visualize, let us take a few seconds to visualize these enlightened beings in front of you. And next, let us visualize the Bodhichitta field. Your two parents on the two sides, and all your family members, including your children, and all other dear mother sentient beings, leaving that aside, be they alive or they pass away. Let's all visualize them with us. Be they human beings, animals, insects, hungry ghouls, hell beings, god and goddesses, Gandharvas, Asuras. Let's visualize all of them to be with us and inspire them to get rid of the fears of life and to embrace the infinite happiness on the basis of wisely embracing their respective courses, the wisdom and the compassion. And with the spirit, let us request our program coordinator, Ms. Tensu Tumala, to do the screen sharing of the text which you're going to read. And the point is that as we read, we make it a point that the meanings are reflected. This is so important. And as we read along, I'm not going to explain. Usually, we do the explanation, then the meditation, reading, all done side by side. But because of the constraint of time, I'm going to just take us straight away without having to go through the details of the explanations. With this in mind, let us not miss to first of all, while reading, to make sure that the meanings are reflected, and if possible, and I know that there are many of you who not only just take this as your inclination, but this as your personal practice on a daily basis. Not only you recite the text, but you also practice the four seals, Bodhichitta, wisdom, emptiness, so forth. And those of you who do have some degrees of experience, let us make it a point to do three things to make sure that three things are happening as we read the text. Number one is reading verbally. Number two is reflecting on the meanings. And number three, invoking the various experiences to the best you can. And meanwhile, not missing to remember all the dear mother sentient beings with you, that you're inspiring them. It is the ignorance, it is the selfishness, not knowing that these two actually destroy them. This being the plight, you are there to be like the beacon of hope, the beacon of wisdom for all of them. So with this in mind, let us do the following recitations. Okay. And to use by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Sanye Juda Zoge Chonam La Chanjo Bardo Dane Gyapsu Che Tage Jinso Kebe Sonam Dola Penjere Sanye Jubareshu Sanye Juda Zoge Chonam Chanjo Bardo Dane Tage Jinso Kebe Sonam Dola Penjere Sanye Jubareshu. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations through the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations through the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations through the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. In dependent origination, there is no ceasing, no rising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no going, no separateness and no sameness. I prostrate to the consummate Buddha, the supreme among all teachers, the one who taught this peace, which is free of elaborations. I prostrate to the mothers of the hearers, the Bodhisattvas and the Buddhas, who through the knowledge of all lead hearers seeking pacification, complete peace, who through the knowledge of paths cause those helping migrators to achieve the aims of the world, and who through the possession of omniscience help subdue us expound a variety of teachings. The one who has transformed into the reliable guide, motivated by altruism to benefit sentient beings, the teacher, Sugata and protector, to you I make prostrations. The one who has eliminated the web of conceptualizations and is endowed with the divine bodies of the vast and the profound, who eternally shines forth the forever noble light rays, to you the Buddha make prostrations. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. Okay, we'll read this together 3 times. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham tathagato hyavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham tathagato hyavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham tathagato hyavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. The meaning of the mantra: all phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation of causes as well is taught by the great seer. Okay, let us not forget this, the meaning of this, with exception here, that all the miseries which we dislike, including the feeling of the uncertainty, of fear, acute fear of, so today, the Omicron is just multiplying so badly here in India. And everywhere in the world, there are lockdowns being declared now. There's so much of fear within us, the feeling of uncertainty. So all these fears, they don't arise randomly. They arise from their respective causes. All phenomena arise from the causes. And what are the causes? The causes are one, they are, say, the contaminated karmas, say the elections, physical, verbal, and mental elections. And these things are not really difficult to identify. This is something that we can identify so easily. Say, how we make somebody else unhappy, your mother who loves you the most, very unhappy by shouting at her. So with this act, physical undesirable act of shouting, makes your mother so sad. So this is how these miseries are given rise to by the elections. And these elections are driven by the thoughts, what your body, the movement that your body engages in, the movement your words engage in. These are all determined by your thought processes. So these thought processes which drive our mind, body, and the words in an unhealthy way are referred to as afflictions. In other words, the disturbing emotions such as anger, attachment, craving, jealousy, and so forth. These are the emotions which drive us into all these elections. And these emotions, these destructive emotions, they're all rooted to the ignorance, self-grasping ignorance, and self-centered attitude. So if we really don't want to go through all these miseries, just learn how to be wisely kind to yourself by learning how to get into the ignorance and learning how to be more compassionate by subsiding the self-centered attitude or the selfish attitude. Okay, we continue reading this. We'll read this the meaning once more together. All phenomena arise from causes. Causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation of the causes as well is taught by the great seer. Profound, peaceful, elaboration-free, clear-lined and non-composite, such is the nectar-like dharma I've discovered. Finding no one who can fathom this teaching, in silence I'll return to the words. Beyond utterance, thought, and expression is the perfection of wisdom, which is unborn, unceased, and has the nature of space. Is the object of apprehension and self-realized wisdom. To you, the mother of the Buddhas of the three times, are the obeisance. The four seals of Buddha's teachings. All composite things are impermanent. All contaminated things are the nature of suffering. All phenomena are the nature of emptiness and selflessness. Transcending sorrow is peace. The Guru is the Buddha, the Guru is the Dhamma, likewise the Guru is the Sangha, the Guru is also everything wholesome. I go for refuge in the Guru. By the sound of the vibrant drum of Dharma, you liberate all beings of miseries. I beseech you to kindly remain and give teachings until the end of the expanse of billions of aeons. The Buddha does not watch the negativities of beings, nor does he remove their miseries by his hands. His spiritual realizations are not transferred to them. It is by teaching the truth of the suchness that beings are liberated. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered miseries gloom. If you're attached to this life, you are not a spiritual practitioner. If you're attached to samsara, you have no renunciation. If you're attached to your own self-interest, you have no bodhichitta. If there's grasping, you do not have the view. All right. Okay, we will turn to page 14. No, praise to Shakyamuni Buddha. 14, 31. Okay, as we recite the Buddha Shakyamuni and the praise, the qualities indicated there, by remembering these qualities, keep in mind that this is what the Buddha taught, that each one of us, we have the perfect seed for all these good qualities. Seeing this quality, the qualities indicated with which the Buddha Shakyamuni is being praised, just if you resonate with some of these qualities within yourself. If you do, rejoice and see how to nurture them further. If you don't, instead of feeling demoralized, make it a point to cultivate them and nurture them further. So this is for you, for myself, all of us. To the founder, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the full destroyer, completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. When, O supreme amongst humans, you are born on this earth, you paced out 7 strides, then supreme in this world. To you who are wise then I prostrate. With pure bodies, form supremely pure, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain, Fame that blazes in the three worlds, winner of the best, Lord, to you I prostrate. With the supreme science, face like a spotless moon, color like gold, to you I prostrate. Just be like you, the three worlds are not. Incompatible wise one, to you I prostrate. The Savior having great compassion, the Founder having all understanding. The field of matter, the qualities like a vast ocean. To you, the Tathagata I prostrate. The purity that frees one from attachment, the virtue that frees one from the lower realms, the one part, the sublime pure reality, to the Dharma that pacifies the prostrate. Those who are liberated and also show the path to liberation, the holy feel qualified with realizations, who are devoted to the moral precepts, to you the Sangha prostrate. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions, perform all imperfect virtuous actions. Subdue your mind thoroughly. This is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a visual aberration, a flame of lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew or a bubble, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud, say conditioned things as such. Through this marriage may sentient beings attain the rank of all-seeing, subdue the four faults, and be delivered from samsara's ocean, perturbed by the ways of aging, sickness, and death. That sharing Buddha. Hasud mantra. Okay, we will recite the Hasud mantra. This mantra should be a reminder for us that I should not remain sad altogether. I should not remain in fear altogether. From where I am now, I'll keep going away from the fears, going away from the sadness towards a state of fearlessness, and then towards a state of infinite happiness for myself and for all my dear mother sentient beings. And imagine that we're all there on Rajgir, the place where the Buddha taught this Heart Sutra, and where this same mantra was recited, resonated so many times there in the holy place by millions and billions of people who came in pilgrimage to this holy site. Let us all visualize that we are there with the two parents, all the family members, and all dear mother sentient beings, where the Buddha Shakyamuni, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Lama Tsong Khapa, and all the enlightened beings are there, blessing us, blessing all the dear mother sentient beings. Eta Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasam Gati Bodhiswaha Tyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhiswaha Tyatha Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhiswaha Tyatha Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhiswaha. Okay, our foundation of all good qualities. Due to the constraint of time, instead of the teaching of the foundation of all good qualities, we'll just read this, and it is quite self-explanatory. Okay, we'll read this together, and particularly, I see that the people who are here, you are mostly from the place where you have already exposed yourself to the Narendra studies or to the great teachings from the different traditions. So just see if you can invoke the meanings of these and the experiences to the best you can. The foundation of all good qualities is a kind and perfect pure Guru. Correct devotion to him is the root of the path. By clearly seeing this and applying great effort, please bless me to rely upon him with great respect. Understanding that the precious freedom of this rebirth is found only once, is greatly meaningful and is difficult to find again. Please bless me to generate the mind that unceasingly, day and night, that takes its essence. This life is as impermanent as a water bubble. Remember how quickly it decays and death comes. After death, just like a shadow follows the body, the results of virtuous and non-virtuous karma follow. Finding firm and definite conviction in this, please bless me to always to be careful, to abandon even the slightest negativity, and accomplish all virtuous deeds. Samsaric splendors are unsatisfying and unreliable. Seeking them is the door to all suffering. Recognizing these shortcomings, please bless me to generate a strong wish for the bliss of liberation. Led by this pure thought, mindfulness, alertness, and great caution arise. The root of the teachings is keeping the Pratyamaksha vows. Please bless me to accomplish this essential practice. Just as I've fallen into the sea of samsara, so of all mother migratory beings, please bless me to see this, reign in supreme bodhicitta, and bear the responsibility of freeing migratory beings. Even if I develop bodhicitta, but I don't practice the three types of morality, I'll not achieve enlightenment. With my clear recognition of this, please bless me to practice the bodhisattva vows with great energy. Once I've pacified great distractions, wrong objects, and correctly analyzed the meaning of reality, please bless me to generate quickly within the mind stream the unified path of karma abiding in special insight. Having become a pure vessel by training the general path, please bless me to enter the holy gateway of the fortunate ones, the supreme Vajra vehicle. At that time, the basis of accomplishing the true attainments is keeping pure vows and samaya. As I've become firmly convinced of this, please bless me to protect these vows and pledge this like my life. Then, having realized the importance of the two stages, the essence of Vajrayana, by practicing with great energy, never giving up the 4 sessions, please bless me to realize the teachings of the Holy Guru. Like that, may the Gurus who show the noble path and the spiritual friends who practice it have long lives, please bless me to pacify completely all out any inner hindrances. In all my lives, never separated from perfect gurus, may enjoy the magnificent Dharma by completing qualities of stages and the paths, by fully attain the state of Vajratara. Okay, we'll recite this mix of mantra. This mantra is a praise to Lama Tsong Khapa, who assumed from our Parinirvana today, on this day. We'll recite this praise to him 3 times. And the 2 things to draw your attention. One is that this praise is so blessed for 2 reasons. One, it was initially composed by Lama Tsong Khapa himself, and he composed it not for himself but for his teacher, Jesu Rendo Shindulute. And he composed this by comparing his teacher, Jesu Rendo Shindulute, with 3 of the Buddhas, the Buddha of compassion, the Buddha of wisdom, and the Buddha of the power. Buddha of compassion, Avalokiteshvara, Buddha of wisdom, Manjushri, and the Buddha of power, Vajrapani, are saying that you embody each of these 3 Buddhas. So you are the one, the crown of all the enlightened beings here in Tibet, to your prostrations. This was a praise Lama Tsongkhapa composed for his teacher. And his teacher, in reading this praise, he erased his own name and replaced that with Lama Tsongkhapa's name, saying that this praise fits better with you rather than me. And then it was handed back to the students of Lama Tsongkhapa, and this is how it became so widely being recited all over in Tibet. So we'll say this together. The first we'll read the English so that you know what it contains, and after that we'll recite the Tibetan. When we read the Tibetan, we skip the line 3. Line 3, not for any other reason, just to say the fact that the first one is compassion, the second one is the wisdom. Compassion, wisdom together, the power automatically is generated. So number 3 is the power. And so this is what it is. We will first say this in English. You are Avalokiteshvara, great treasure of non-referential compassion, and Manjushri, master of flawless wisdom, as well as Vajrapani, destroyer of hosts of demons without exception. Tsongkhapa, crown jewel of the sages of the land of snows, Lord Tsongkhapa, at your feet I make prostrations. Okay, now we'll sing this in the Tibetan. And when we sing this, there are some of you who know how to sing this. you join us. And those who do not know how to sing, listen to us and then join us. Ganden Nyamchoe Lo San Tabe Sham Lai So Bade Ganden Nyamchoe Lo San Tabe Sham Lai So Bade Ganden Nyamchoe Lo San Tabe Sham Lai So Bade. We'll say this once more in English. You are Avalokiteshvara, great treasure of non-referential compassion, and Manjushri, master of flawless wisdom, as well as Vajrabhani, destroyer of hosts of demons without exception. Tsongkhapa, crown jewel of the sages of the land of snows, Lord Santaba, at your feet I make prostrations. Okay, so now we will we'll go through the actual practice, Bodhichitta, undertaking the ceremony of taking the aspiration Bodhisattva vow. For this matter, I just like to share something for a light mode. Light note is that when I was very young, I must be 23 or 24, and studying all these technical texts from Lama Tsong Khapa's the compositions books and the commentaries. So there's one particular text on the very profound philosophy of Chittamatra and philosophy of Madhyamika. And in the word of salutation, I was so bad. Now I regret a lot. At the same time, I feel so happy now. What happened was that reading the introductory the verses. So there, what Lama Tsong Khapa indicated was that in this land of snows, Tibet, there were many people who claimed to be scholars, yet they could not hit the actual meaning of what constitutes the ultimate reality. And there are many who claim to be, say, the practitioners, and yet they do not know what to practice. And then he said, so the text is the essence of eloquent speech. Then he said that out of compassion, out of concern, out of compassion, I'm composing this text to bridge the two. And initially, I was so bad. I was extremely bad that I thought, okay, this is too much. Because I was just very naive, so naive, very new in the study of philosophy. And then, okay. So he said that he's the one who is going to bridge the two. And then, having studied more, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, then I started going deeper and deeper with the help of my teachers, the classmates, and all the monk students in the monastery from initially Institute of Buddhist Dialectics, later on Buddhist Monastery University there, then becoming a senior student and gaining deep interest in the philosophy of emptiness, Bodhichitta, universal compassion, Bodhichitta. Then at times I was really struggling to look for answers to some nuanced questions, and finding so desperate. I could not get, okay, you read anything, I don't get the answers. Finally, when I read Lama Tsong Khapa's text once more, then all these answers you get from there. Then I started to really feel regret that what he said is actually what he meant. What he meant out of compassion. Yes, only when you come to a certain stage where you are able to see the philosophy, the psychology little bit with the help of your teachers and all the student colleagues. So with this, then when you are looking for deeper answers, you find it so difficult to get these answers. And then all these you will get from Lama Tsong Khapa's writings. Then I started to literally I started to have goosebumps out of feeling regret and feeling so deeply gratitude to Lama Tsong Khapa. So this is a little just a sharing with you all. Okay, with this in mind, what we'll do is that this actual ceremony is not really a ceremony. It's why we are doing this is for the reason that there are many of us who are really interested to know how to practice Dharma on a daily basis. For that matter, what we're doing now, what we read thus far, this is extremely succinct. And now what we're going to do is for the actual practice. For this practice, we need 4 components. 4 components. The first is the single-pointed meditation. Number 2 is the renunciation. Number 3 is bodhicitta. Number 4 is the wisdom of emptiness. So these 4 points are there. So our ceremony for undertaking the aspirational Bodhisattva, we try to make it as comprehensive to make sure that many of us will learn how to do this on a daily basis. With this in mind, the first one, single-pointed meditation or the shamatha practice, we're going to do 5 minutes of the meditation, 5 minutes breathing meditation, and those of us who have their own respective practices, you can directly do that meditation. For those of us who are new to this practice, I'm going to give you a very quick instruction how to practice it. Okay. So the single-pointed meditation is going to be really quick because there are many who are very senior students, senior practitioners. So I don't want to take much of their time. And so what we do is that it's going to be a breathing meditation where it should have 4 components. The first one is the body posture. Number 2 is the focal point, what you're going to meditate on. Then number 3 is identifying the errors of meditation. Number 4 is applying the remedies to overcome the errors. The first, the body posture, the cross-legged. And for the meditation, is always best to make sure that your seat, the cushion is not too soft. It should not be too hard. It should not be too soft. It should be very average to make sure that you can sit there for longer duration of time. And that cross-legged is very helpful for a long-term meditator. And the body upright. Unless you have backache problem, you're advised not to lean against Don't lean against the support. Just sit upright. And yet, the body must be very relaxed, not stiff. It should be relaxed, upright, and relaxed. Okay. And your head tilted forward a little bit. And the next is eyes not closed. Eyes half open, eyes not closed. And eyes closed is very dangerous. This is this is what I like to say. The add here, keeping eyes closed is very dangerous. And anybody who's interested to know how it is dangerous, you can send us the question through your chat, not here. Okay, and then at the tip of the tongue should touch the upper palate to avoid excessive accumulation of saliva in the mouth, and breathe normally. Don't chase after the breath. Don't control the breath. Don't chase after the breath. Let the breath flow naturally. And your right hand on your left hand, the two thumbs standing, forming a triangle. Place the two hands on your laps in a restful state. This is your body posture. Next, the focal point, what are you going to focus on? What are you going to meditate? There's so many options of meditation. What you're going to do is the simplest one. One is the simplest one, yet very efficacious and very effective. That is just counting the breath. Counting the breath. And if possible, you can visualize a tiny dot, 1 mm or 2 mm in diameter between nose and upper lip, a tiny dot simultaneously or multitasking while you focus mind on this tiny dot here. Count the breath. Breathe in, breathe out. Cycle 1, breathe in, breathe out. Cycle 2. This is what we do for 5 minutes. This is the focal point. Next is identifying the areas of meditation. And this is, in fact, what I like to remind almost all the meditators or practitioners, that point number 3 and 4 are so important for us to remember. For what are the mistakes or the errors of meditation? Twofold: mental laxity, which is the heaviness of the mind. Your mind feels lethargic, heavy, sinking. And the other problem is your mind becomes overactive, scattered, and distracted. So should any of these two things happen, no need to freak, just go for number 4. Number 4, apply the remedies properly. And the remedy is twofold. One is introspection, and the other one is mindfulness. Introspection is just to keep an eye on your mind to see if your mind is meditating, is still meditating, or it is in a relaxed state, or it is scattered. Should you see that any of these two things happen, then apply the mindfulness. With the introspection, you will see what your mind is doing. With the mindfulness, you will bring the mind back to the intended object of the meditation. Okay, ready? 5 minutes. Okay, next is the renunciation. For the renunciation, we do it on the basis of the 4 seals. 4 seals, okay. Unlike the first meditation, which is single point meditation, the second and the third, fourth, these 4 are going to be the guided meditation, meaning that will follow the instructions. And for that matter, as the instructions are given, let us make it a point that we just try to invoke the respective experiences to the best you can, rather than correlating with whatever you learned before in the past, or whatever you are learning now, and then comparing, contrasting. Don't do that. You can do these things later after this ceremony. You can do it later. At the moment, just follow the instructions to reap the maximum benefit. Just see how much you can invoke the spirits of your, compassion, of your renunciation, of your compassion, of the wisdom to the best you can. And finally, as His Holiness the Dalai Lama this morning very clearly indicated, that we should make sure that if not for sure within days or weeks or months, we cannot have what we call as, oh, I can see that now I'm spiritually becoming so advanced. But over years, year by year, there must be some progress happening. And this will happen. His Holiness very clearly indicated that this will happen only through your the attempts to invoke the spirit through practice of whatever you have reflected upon, whatever you have studied. So with this in mind, this is going to be a guided meditation with instructions. Okay, ready? First, renunciation. Renunciation is not to renounce your happiness. It is to renounce your miseries. It is to renounce your fears of life. To renounce the fears of life and the miseries of life, we need to know how to renounce the causes of the miseries, because the miseries, they invariably arise by dependence on the causes. So how to get out of these causes, how to get out of these causes is best done by practicing the 4 seals. The first, all composite things impermanent. Composite things which are composed of atomic particles with directional paths, or with temporal paths, such as the mind, or something which is composed of both, like the self, the person, which is composed of both. Anything which is composed of these 2 substances should necessarily be impermanent in nature. And then this impermanence is of 2 kinds: gross impermanence and the subtle impermanence. Gross impermanence, marked by the discontinuation of a particular composite phenomena, such as your youth. 10 years ago, 20 years ago, or 10 years ago, you were 10 years younger than what you are today. That youth, 10 years younger, is a lot, and that is gone now. 2021 is on the verge to be stopped. And your parents, many of your grandparents, many of great-grandparents, they're all gone, except for 1 or 2. They're all gone. They just disappeared in the thin air of the memory. These are the impermanence. The beautiful sunset. Yes, we enjoyed it, we appreciate it, and yet in few minutes it's gone. Like a thunder, like a lightning. It's so bright, but within a fraction of seconds, it's all gone. Believe it or not, 200 years ago, it may not be 7 billion human beings as what is today, but for sure it must be like 4 billion years, 4 billion, the 4 billion human beings, or the 5 billion human beings 200 years ago. Now, where are those people? Not even a single person is left today, guaranteed. Some say that Somebody lived 135 years. I'm not too sure, but for sure not 200 years. Where are those 5 billion human beings who existed 200 years ago? They're all gone. Believe it or not, today we have so many things on our mind. The parents have so much expectations on the children, and the children, they have so much in the mind. I will do this, I will do that, and so forth. Whether you accomplish these, whether you don't accomplish these, in 200 years from now, not even a single person today will be alive then. It's all going to be like, just out of 7 billion human beings today, perhaps 10, at the most 100 or 200 will be remembered. But that too, very faintly. The rest of us, nobody will then even have a clue of existence on this earth. This impermanence. Yes, that's very true. Whether we have accomplished or we have not accomplished, whether whatever in the mind they are done, not done, left, have done, will all disappear. This is a fact. This is all composite, this impermanent. And where do we go? This next question. Where do we go? And this impermanence is marked. This gross impermanence, the manifest impermanence, is marked by the subtle impermanence. Where the change that you see in 100 years, for example, each one of us who may weigh like, say, 40 kg or 50 kg, 60, 70, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, day one you were born in the mother's, day one you were conceived in the mother's womb, you are just a tiny cell, tiny cell. This tiny cell has now mutated to this who you are today. So it has gone through this momentary change. So all these gross impermanence, manifest impermanence are marked by the momentary changes. This is the subtle impermanence. In other words, all composite things should necessarily follow the law of subtle impermanence, which means that our bodies move so fast. Our minds move so fast. The person you love, who you love, your mom, your dad, your brother, sister, and so forth, they move so fast. The body is just, you look at through electron microscope, you see that we are just in the vibration, in the constant flux of vibration. This is how we are changing. There's nothing really there to hold on to say that this is what I like to have, and you grab it. By the time you go to grab at it, it simply disappears, and a new form has already taken over. If this is how we are moving so fast, where are we moving? This next question. Imagine that somebody picks you up from the train station and throws you into a very fast moving train. What do you feel? Will feel so scared, so much of fear. Faster the train moves, more the fear, not know where this train is taking. And who decides where this train is taking you? The train driver decides. If the train driver happens to be the terrorist, no doubt he'll take you to a slaughterhouse. If the train driver is your mom, dad, no doubt this train will take you to a picnic spot. But in that case, we are like being in a very fast-moving train, where we are thrown into this very fast-moving train, not knowing where this train is taking us. In that case, who's the driver? Our mind is the driver. Unfortunately, this mind is under the dictate of the two demons: self-grasping, ignorance, self-centered attitude. As long as our mind is under the dictate of these two, on this the fast-moving train of our body, the mind will take us to a miserable state of the slaughterhouse. It's very scary. This is what the Buddha indicated as all the contaminated things are suffering nature. Everything which is contaminated by these two demons, self-grasping, ignorance, self-centered attitude, will only take us to the miseries. All contaminated things are suffering nature. Like what kind of suffering? Sickness, aging, death, tension, depression, anxiety, anguish, Omicron, the variant, and so forth. So much of fear of uncertainty. The parents, they don't dare to send their children outside their house. So this is where people have to live in fear. Just the loss of one moment of the loss of your near and dear ones is good enough to nullify all the past moments of the merriments, joys, festivals, festivities, and so forth. This is the meaning of all contaminated things of suffering nature. Okay, when will this stop? It'll never stop on its own. It'll never stop on its own unless we do something. Arideva, Bodhisattva Arideva, what he said, samsara, whether or not it has end, it entirely depends on the individual. Whether the individual strive hard with a concerted effort can bring an end to samsara, all these acutely painful, agonizing miseries. But without effort exerted, it'll never come to an end. It's going to be endless. This is what Bodhisattva Arideva said. How can we bring an end to this? Yes, the Buddha said, Ye dharma hetu prabhava. All these phenomena of the miseries, they arise from the causes. If you don't want these miseries, bring an end to the causes. What is the cause? Self-grasping ignorance, the two demons. Self-grasping ignorance, self-centered attitude. How to bring an end to this? Self-grasping ignorance, it is like this ignorance is the darkness. How to get rid of the darkness? The darkness, the best way is by introducing the light. In a like manner, it is only through introducing the light of the wisdom that the darkness of ignorance can be eradicated. What is this light of the wisdom? Okay, this is what the Buddha indicated, that the wisdom is the discerning mind whose apprehension of the object tallies with the reality. What's the reality? This is what the Buddha indicated as the third seal. Transcending everything is of the nature of emptiness, selflessness. Okay, let's quickly meditate on emptiness. So it's going to be guided on the basis of the 5 points. The first, the self. What are you doing? I'm meditating. How does the self appear to you? Like a dream, or as so objectively, so well defined, so objectively there? How does the self appear to you? Of course, so objectively there, so self-defined there. This is ignorance. This belief, this apprehension of the self to exist as so objectively real there, not like a dream. This is known as self-grasping ignorance. How can I know that this is ignorance? It's not a valid mind. How can I know this? Okay. So, if this self does exist the way it appears to this ignorance, remember what Parinirvana said. If the mirage were to be water, why not those close by the mirage see water? If this self were to exist objectively, so objectively and independently, why not as we go closer to the object, we see the self? Okay, now let us subject this self to ultimate analysis and let us go closer to the self. Going closer to the self, going closer to the object, let us just ignore all those things which are not the self. We're only interested to look for what is objectively real as the self. Going there objectively, first we see a very thin layer of skin. Of course, it's not me. Behind that, the fatty tissues. There's also not me. Behind that, the muscles, the cartilages. Alongside, blood vessels. And the skeleton, whole skeleton, then the heart, the lungs, all the visible organs inside. None of these solid parts constitute is the self. These solid parts constitute the element earth. In other words, element earth is not the self. Just ignore this. Element water, 4.6 liters, 4 liters of blood, which is pumped in and out by the heart to different parts of the body. Of course, that is also not me. Element of fire, the body heat, 2,500 joules of energy that we have, a body has. This is also not the self. Element of air, 4.6 liters of air that we breathe in and out through our lungs. That's also not me. Get that aside. Element of space, 99.99% of the body is vacuum. Even this vacuum is also not me. I'm a solid person. and the vacuum, the space is vacuum in nature. There's also not me. Keep that aside. What is left now? Only my mind is left, consciousness. Even the consciousness also not you. Your consciousness does not have a gender. I'm a male, I'm a female. The gender is posited on the basis of your body. The consciousness does not have this gender, and people can see me. People cannot see my consciousness. So therefore, even the consciousness of my mind is also not me. Keep that aside. Okay. Now, which of the 6 elements is this self? Which of the 6 elements is to be seen as objectively the self? None of the 6 elements is to be identified as the objective self. Okay. Then, is there self which is intrinsically, objectively different from these 6 elements? Keeping aside the 6 elements, what is there? Nothing is there to be identified as a self which is objectively different from these 6 elements. Nothing is to be found there. Stay in this experience that none of these 6 elements is self. No different from these 6 elements is to be identified as intrinsically different self, different from the elements. Where is the self now? You have come too close to the object. What is the self? From the object, what is there to be identified as self? Nothing is to be identified as a self. Okay, stay in this experience. Some of you might have a tinge of a fear. It's a good indication, don't worry. Some of you might have a tickling sensation, cold waves flowing through your body. These are all good indications. If nothing happens, don't worry. This is how we have to have extensive studies, reflection, and a meditation. Okay, this experience is amazing. But what's the benefit of this meditation? Yes. Just as when this self is subjected to the ultimate analysis, this self is no way to be seen as intrinsically real. Likewise, you subject to sickness, aging, death, tension, depression, anxiety, anguish to the same analysis, even they will also disappear like a thin air. Wow, that's amazing. We're all in this experience of emptiness, all the sorrow dissolves. Stay in this experience. This is what the Buddha indicated as a 4th seal. Transcending sorrow is absolute peace. This is absolute peace. Stay in this experience. And the genuine desire to experience this emptiness, where all images dissolve, this desire is known as renunciation. Renunciation. The true meaning of the renunciation is this aspiration to experience this emptiness where all the misery is dissolved, and you can sustain this experience through your will. Okay, slowly come out of this meditation. Good. Now let us quickly move to Bodhichitta. For the Bodhichitta purpose, we will, what we do is that we usually use the 4 immeasurables. Now we'll do only the 2 immeasurables. Or we'll do the, 2 immeasurables, yes. Okay, ready? So here we really need to focus, put effort to invoke the experiences to the best you can. And at times you may feel them to be so superficial. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They just see how much you can invoke the experiences. And this is how we begin with the superficiality and reach to the naturalness, spontaneity. This is how we have to approach our meditation. This is how we practice music. This is how we practice any discipline. Okay, with this mind, the first, immeasurable loving kindness. How good would it be that all dear Mother sentient beings are endowed with happiness and the causes of happiness. The causes of happiness primarily consisting of the wisdom of emptiness and the unconditional love of Bodhichitta. May all my dear Mother sentient beings be endowed with happiness and the causes of happiness. I will take the responsibility that all my dear Mother sentient beings are endowed with happiness and the causes of happiness. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, witnessing that you make such a courageous commitment, they intensely happy and proud of you, the way the mother, after raising her children, all these many years with so much hardship. Today, for the first time, her eldest daughter and eldest son were just 12 years old. They come to the mother, telling the mother, "Mother, please take rest. You have done everything for us. We're all grown up. I'll take care of my siblings." And imagine, the mother could not believe her eyes and ears. She feels so happy, relieved, and so proud of you as her child. This is exactly what all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas are feeling today, on this Lama Tsongkhapa's day, that you made this courageous commitment to take the responsibility of all the dear Mother sentient beings on your own shoulder. They are so, so happy and proud of you. And imagine that this pride and happiness that all the Buddhists and Bodhisattvas experience invoke the compassion of omniscient minds to send for nectars and very soothing lights towards you and all dear Mother sentient beings. The mere touch of lights and nectars with the bodies beings of yours instills in all happiness and the causes of happiness in the minds of all dear Mother sentient beings of yourself. And you witnessing such a miracle is happening to us all dear Mother sentient beings. You're intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sighing with the relief. Next, immeasurable compassion. How good would it be that all my dear Mother sentient beings are freed from suffering and the causes of suffering. The cause of suffering primarily consisting of self-grasping ignorance and self-centered attitude. And the Omicron, all the negative karmas, all the afflictive, disturbing emotions. May all my dear Mother sentient beings be freed from suffering and the causes of suffering. I will take the responsibility that all my dear Mother sentient beings are freed from suffering and the causes of suffering. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, witnessing that you are making such a courageous commitment, they're intensely happy and proud of you. This pride and happiness that they feel invoke their compassionate, omniscient minds to send for nectars and very soothing lights towards you and all dear Mother sentient beings. The mere touch of the lights and nectars with the bodies beings of yours washes away all the miseries and the cause of miseries, washes away all stains of the COVID-19, all stains of the Omicron variant. And the whole world is sanctified. And you witnessing such a miracle is happening to us all, the dear Mother sentient beings. You're intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sighing with the relief. Just abide in unconditional love towards all the dear Mother sentient beings. This is a seed for you to eventually experience the most beautiful mind of Bodhichitta. With folded hands, I will say a line of Bodhichitta commitment, and then we'll all say this together 3 times, wholeheartedly. It can be very superficial, it doesn't matter. This is how we begin. And then eventually, you see that with a study, reflection, meditation on the 2 methods to generate Bodhichitta, you'll experience that it becomes real. Okay, I'll say this line of the Bodhichitta commitment, and we'll all say this 3 times together. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear Mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear Mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear Mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear Mother sentient beings. Okay, just abiding the experience of the courageous mind of Bodhichitta. for a while. So beautiful in nature. In fact, the most beautiful mind that can possibly exist in this universe. Slowly transform this beautiful mind of Bodhichitta into spotlessly clean, white moon disk, horizontally sitting at the heart. Now, that's amazing that you made such a courageous commitment to become Buddha. But how come that you can become Buddha? Yes, no matter how much you squeeze a handful of sand, no oil will come out of it. Oh, that's true. But I'm not like a handful of sand. I'm like a handful of sunflower seeds, squeezing which oil will come out. I have the Buddha nature inside, the potential for the Buddhahood. But how come that since time immemorial till now, this Buddha nature did not really manifest? And today, how can I expect that today it will become manifest? Yes, that's true. Since time immemorial till now, I've been deceived by these two demons. And I thought that these two are my best friends. And these two are the ones who actually destroyed me and who actually stopped me, have been the deterrent factors for me to activate this Buddha nature. Today, I'm disillusioned by these two demons. I'm not going to be a friend of these two anymore. I'm going to do everything to exterminate these two demons. How am I going to do that? By introducing the counterforce. What's the counterforce? The wisdom of emptiness. What is this wisdom of emptiness? Okay, let's quickly invoke this wisdom of emptiness, which we meditated as the third seal, the power of the four seals. What are you doing? I'm meditating. Okay, this self is made of 6 elements. Yes, earth, water, fire, air, space, and consciousness. Okay, now subjecting this self to ultimate analysis, where is this self? Amongst the 6 elements or different from the 6 elements? No way to be seen as intrinsically one with the 6 elements. No way to be seen as intrinsically different from the 6 elements. Going too close to object, the way Nagarjuna said, if the mirage were to be water, why not those close by the mirage see water? Likewise, why not we see the self as we go closer to the object? Going closer to the object, we end up seeing that self is no more there. Stay in this experience. And this fearless mind of the wisdom of emptiness, slowly transform this into a spotless, clean, white Vajra, vertically sitting on the Bodhisattva heart. Okay, that's amazing. Now you have the set of the Vajra moon to counter the two demons. The moon symbolizing the conventional Bodhichitta to counteract the self-centered attitude. And the Vajra, symbolic of the ultimate Bodhichitta, the wisdom of emptiness to counteract the self-grasping ignorance and all its subtle stains. That's amazing. So now that you are guaranteed that you can become enlightened, yes, but what about my 2 parents? What about all my family members? What about all my dear mother sentient beings? That's very true. With so much love and affection, so much compassion that you feel towards all the dear mother sentient beings, invoke the Vajramoon at your heart to multiply infinite number of times. And of these replicas that have manifested now, share one set of Vajramoon at the heart of your mother. Share one set of Vajramoon at the heart of your father. Share one set of the Vajramoon at the heart of each of your family members. One set with each of the human beings, animals, insects, hungry ghosts, hell beings, god and goddesses, asuras, gandharvas. With leaving none aside, everyone has a share from the share of the Vajramoon being shared by you, your compassion. That's amazing. I'm so happy that this is happening. Okay. So let's not forget that all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas on this day of Lama Tsong Khapa's Parinirvana, all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they're watching us. Why not we invite all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas to be the guest and the witness to undertaking the ceremony of taking the aspirational Bodhisattva vow. So with this in mind, along with all the dear mother sentient beings, let us visualize that we get up, we stand up to make 3 prostrations. We actually stand up along with all dear mother sentient beings to make 3 prostrations to all the Buddhas Bodhisattvas. Okay, those of us who do not have any backache problem, you can sit on your knees. And those of us who do have backache problem, you sit in the most comfortable position. Okay, with this in mind, skin sharing. Okay, now this is the actual ceremony. As we visualize all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas in a space in front of you. Buddha Shakyamuni, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, then the Guru Padmasambhava, then the Sajjan Kunga Nyingpo, Sakya Pandita, and the Chizun Tilupa, Chizun Narupa, Chizun Marpa, Chizun Mila, Chizun Tapulache, then Bodhisattva, Lama Tsongkhapa, Shirigana, Tumdi Geve June, Olo Zawa, and Lama Tsong Khapa, Geshe Rinpoche, Kidru Rinpoche, and all the enlightened beings with us as witness, as the guests. And imagine that now what we're doing here, this is so precious. And as we recite this, the first verse 3 times, this is preparing us into taking the aspirational Bodhisattva vow. And taking the aspirational Bodhisattva vow, it is not necessary that, oh, now it is a vow, there are so many commitments. No, there's no commitment at all. If at all you want to feel committed, it is that from today onwards, I'll try my best not to harm others. I'll try my best to help others if possible. If not, at least I will not harm others to the best I can. If this much you can make the commitment, you are eligible to take this aspirational Bodhisattva vow. Okay, and for this matter, it's not even necessary that you should be a Buddhist. Anybody can take this aspirational Bodhisattva vow with the pure heart to be of some service, show kindness towards other beings. Okay, with this mind, I'm going to quickly explain this to make sure that this the ceremony is of greatest benefit for us. I go for refuge to the True Gem. It means that I'm undertaking a journey to become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings. For that matter, I need a great support, and the greatest of support that we can think of is the True Gem. So it says, I go for refuge to the True Gem. Then, because this is a journey towards Buddhahood, the road must be very clear. If the road is blocked by the boulders, trees, and so forth, then you can go. So the road is none other than our own mind. A mind must be freed of the blocks, what is being blocked by the boulders and trees of the mental defilements. To remove the mental defilements, the best way effectively to be done is by confessing the negativities. So the second line says, I confess the negativities individually. The road is very clear now, but if the car does not have the fuel, again, you cannot go. Car should have enough fuel. And what is that fuel? The fuel of the merit. We need to have enormous amount of merit so that we can undertake this journey. Okay, while we are doing this, in the process, if you start to feel pain, sit down in the most comfortable position. Okay, with this in mind, I say the manner in which we accumulate so much virtues within the very short span of time is by rejoicing in the virtues of others. Third line says, I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. Okay, now the road is clear. Your car has enough fuel. What kind of journey are you going to undertake? So this is going to be the journey of the Buddhahood, journey to become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings, for the benefit of yourself, your fearlessness, experience of fearlessness, and the infinite happiness for yourself and for all the beings. The fourth line says, I hold the precious Buddhahood in my heart. Okay, let's say this 3 times together. And imagine that all the sentient beings are joining you, and your 2 parents, even if they're alive, they passed away, it doesn't matter. Everyone who died to COVID and who died for any other reason as well, just let us visualize all of them undertaking this ceremony with you, and all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, they feel so proud to see what you're doing today. I go for refuge to the True Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddhahood in my heart. I go for refuge to the True Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. Okay, the next two verses is the main. So here you invoke the Gurus, Buddhas, Bodhisattvas to pay heed to you, and all the Buddhas of the Bodhisattvas, you all invoke them. Now, the next two the verses is how come that the Buddha Shakyamuni 2,500 years ago, just one single prince, he's able to benefit enormous amount of the people. Incredible number of the beings are being freed from miseries to the ultimate happiness. How come that he was able to do that? He was able to do that for two reasons. One is that initially the motivation is a tremendous the powerful motivation to become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. Number one, the motivation Bodhichitta. Then number two, to materialize this aspiration of the Bodhichitta, he actually engaged in the Bodhisattva practices like the 6 perfections, 10 perfections, and so forth. So if this is how he succeeded, I will follow his footsteps. I will also generate the Bodhichitta. I'll also engage in the Bodhisattva practices. So this is the second verse. Okay, let's say this 3 times together. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as previous Buddhas have generated the mind of Bodhichitta, and just as they successfully dwelt in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of Bodhichitta, and likewise shall I do successfully follow the Bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as the previous Buddhas have generated the mind of Bodhichitta, and just as they successfully dwell in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of Bodhichitta, and likewise shall I do successfully follow the Bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as previous Buddhas have generated the mind of Bodhichitta, and just as they successfully dwell in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of Bodhichitta, and likewise shall I do successfully follow the Bodhisattva practices. Okay, now the imagine that the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they're so proud of you. It is just imagine that this is a reality. In fact, that that it is like since time immemorial till now, we have we have all these opportunities there, but we remain such a miserable person till now. So why? Because that we have been like very mischievous children of wonderful parents, very mischievous, naughty, not listening to what the parents said, and then their parents, they feel so so sad, and suddenly imagine the school principal comes to the school principal, escorted by the teachers, come to the mother, and again the mother fearing that again what kind of complaint they may bring, and they may come up with, and anything wrong with my son, daughter? And the no, we came here to congratulate you. What for? Your daughter and your son, they are selected as the best students of this school for this year. The mother could not believe her eyes and ears. For all the many years that her children, they've been bringing only embarrassments to the mother, and today for the first time, the mother is hearing so pleasant. This is exactly what all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas are feeling today. That all these innumerable lifetimes we wasted, we just engage in all the negative karmas, afflictions, and so forth, and thereby creating misery on yourself, creating misery on others. And the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, they feel so sad. And today, for the first time, they could not believe that this is what is happening today on Lama Tsong Khapa's day, who otherwise always bringing embarrassment to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. And today, for the first time, you're all doing something so good. Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they feel so proud and happy of what you're doing today. So this pride and happiness, the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they feel, invoke the Vajra moon at their hearts to multiply infinite number of times. Just visualize that. With so much of love and affection, confidence, so much love and affection. The replicas of the Vajra moon from the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, like rain shower in barrage, they like rain shower, they descend to merge with the one that visualize in your heart, thereby blessing, becoming non-dual, and stabilized. Likewise, all these replicas Vajramon from Buddhist Bodhisattvas in mirage, they like rain shower, they descend to merge with the one that visualized at the heart of your mother, at the heart of your father, at the heart of each of the family members, each of the dear mother sentient beings, human beings, animals, insects, hungry ghouls, hell beings, god and goddesses, asuras, gandharvas, leaving none aside, everyone now they Vajra Buddha at the heart, which we have shared, they've been blessed, become non-dual and stabilized by all the rain shower of the Vajra moon from the Buddhist Bodhisattvas. This is the greatest day. This is the best way to celebrate Lama Tsong Khapa's day, Parinirvana day. And this is, of all the gifts that you can possibly think of to offer to sentient beings, this is the greatest gift. And today you have done it. And all the offerings that you can think of making to all Buddhists and Bodhisattvas, this is the greatest offering. And today you offered it. And your life, this is the greatest of the meaning that you can possibly extract out of your life. And today you have extracted it. This is so amazing, worthy to be celebrated. So this all happened because of the blessings and the kindness of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. As a gesture of thanking them, let us again stand up to make 3 prostrations to all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, along with all the dear sentient beings. Okay, please take your seats, sit comfortably. Okay, now we will do the this Jukiti. Okay, so what we did is really, this is the real auspicious thing that we did. And in this life, we got the opportunity to do that. What about next life? Will we meet with this Dharma Bodhichitta and Vishnu emptiness? For that, we have to create the conducive factors. One of the most powerful factor is while we strive in this life to the maximum we have, maximum we can, meanwhile include the powerful prayers. So this verse that we have here, we're going to say this 3 times so that we will meet with the same Dharma where we can go from the state of darkness to the state of light, state of misery to the state of happiness for yourself and for all beings. We'll say this 3 times together. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the compassionate Buddha and be able to uphold the true precious Bodhicittas even at the cost of my life. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the compassionate Buddha and be able to uphold the true precious Bodhicittas even at the cost of my life. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the compassionate Buddha and be able to uphold the true precious Bodhicittas even at the cost of my life. Next, to rejoice in what we have done, taken from Bodhisattva Shantideva's text, we'll read from the following verses. In order to further increase this bodhicitta from now on, those with discernment who have lucidly seized an awakening mind of bodhicitta in this way should highly praise it in the following manner. Today, my life has borne fruit, having well obtained this human existence. I've been born in the family of the Buddha, and now I'm one of Buddha's children. Thus, whatever actions I do from now on must be in accord with the family. Never shall I disgrace or pollute this noble or unsullied race. Just like a blind person discovering a jewel in the heap of rubbish, likewise by some coincidence, an awakened mind has been born within me. It's a supreme ambrosia that overcomes the sovereignty of death, is the inexhaustible treasure that eliminates all poverty in the world, is the supreme medicine that quells the world's disease, is the tree that shelters all beings wandering and tied on the path of conditioned existence, is the universal bridge that leads to freedom from unhappy states of birth. It is the dawning moon of the mind that dispels the torment of disturbing conceptions. It is the great sun that finally removes the misty ignorance of the world. It is the quintessential butter from the churning of the milk of Dharma. For all those guests traveling on the path of conditioned existence who wish to experience the bounties of happiness, this will satisfy them with joy, and I shall praise them in supreme bliss. Today, in the presence of all the protectors, I invite the world to be guests at a festival of temporary and ultimate delight. May gods, demigods, and all be joyful. Okay, we'll do the benediction prayer. Okay, let us dedicate the merits thus gathered. No doubt we have accumulated so much of virtues, and I can see that most of you joined this just for the purpose of the Bodhichitta, taking the aspirational Bodhisattva vow, which is so precious. I really rejoice in your, say, the enthusiasm, your inclination towards the practice of the Dharma. And today, collectively, we've accumulated great merit. Let us pray that by virtue of this accumulation of merit, let's pray that His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the true source of joy and happiness on this earth, that he lives long and that his wishes be fulfilled spontaneously. And let us also pray that all the great learning centers of learning, from the Theravada tradition, from the Chinese tradition, from the Tibetan tradition, from Sakya, Kakyu, Nyingma, Gilo, from all the traditions, wherever the genuine Dharma is being imparted, may these centers thrive in the activities of study, reflection, meditation. And may all the Dharma teachers, genuine Dharma teachers, may they have good health. May the activities never be hindered. May the activities never meet with the detriment factors. May the activities flourish in all directions. And I personally dedicate the merits thus gathered, that each one of you, through a concerted effort, be able to soon see the dawn of the wisdom of emptiness and the Bodhichitta, the most beautiful mind Bodhichitta, and the fearless mind of the wisdom of emptiness within you, to be that each one of you becomes such a reliable guide to lead all dear mother sentient beings towards the ultimate happiness of Buddhahood. May the teaching of the Bodhichitta, may the teaching of the wisdom of emptiness proliferate and thrive everywhere in the universe at all times, in the minds of all dear mother sentient beings. Okay, with this mind, let us recite the following verses. In the land encircled by snow mountains, you are the source of all happiness and good. All-powerful generous Tenzin Gyatso, please remain until samsara ends. Just as the brave Manchuria and Samadhi too realize things as they are, also I dedicate all these merits in the best way, that I may follow their perfect example. I dedicate all these roots of virtue with the dedication praised as the best by all the Buddhas who appeared in the 3 times, so that I might perform the noble Bodhisattva's deeds. Kone kondo pevarasho. May the Supreme Bodhichitta that is not arrested and arise and grow, may that which is arisen not diminish but increase forevermore. As long as space remains, as long as sentient beings remain, until then, may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. Due to the merits of these virtuous actions, may I quickly attain the state of a Guru Buddha and lead all beings without exception into that enlightened state. I dedicate the merits thus gathered towards the realization that these in the prayers of all the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas of 3 times, and to the upholding of Dharma of teaching realization. May I in all life, through the force of this merit, never separate from the 4 wheels of the Mahana vehicle, and accomplish all the stages of the path, renunciation, bodhicitta, perfect in the 2 stages. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and the Sangha, until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. By the power of practicing and supplicating to you, may all be free from sickness, poverty, and conflicts, and may Dharma be auspicious and proliferate in all places where we abide. The power of union of emptiness and compassion is loosely explained by the Bodhisattva Buddha Dharma and the beings of the land of snows. You are the lotus holder Tenzin Gyatso. We supplicate you that your wishes are fulfilled spontaneously. May the operations of evil thoughts and deeds of the negative forces of humans or non-humans who harbor malice through perverted prayers against the teachings of the Buddhas be totally vanquished through the power of the truth of three jewels. In all my lives, never separated from perfect gurus, I enjoy the manifesting Dharma by completing the qualities of the stages and the paths, may I attain the state of Vajratara. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by Ramanjushri and be able to uphold the Dharma in general and the teachings on dependent origination in particular, even at the cost of my life. Deata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisvaha Tyatha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisvaha Tyatha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisvaha. Okay, thank you, each and every one of you. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Geshe, for such an illuminating and interesting teaching today on Ganden Nyamchoe. The 14 stanzas of Lama Tsong Khapa and the kinds and steps of meditation that Geshe so eloquently explained resonates with our daily lives and something to practice as best as we can. So thank you once again, Geshe, for articulating today's teaching in very simple terms. So with this, we have come to the end of today's program. And on behalf of all the members of Tibet House, I would like to thank all our speakers and to all the participants for taking out your precious time in participating today's program. Thank you so much to everyone and wishing you all a very happy, healthy, and prosperous new year in advance. Thank you.
Thank you, Venerable Geshe. Thank you. Thank you, Tibet House. Thank you, everyone. Happy New Year.
Thank you, Geshe. Tibet House.
Thank
Thank you, Geshe. Thank you, Tibet House.
Thank you.
you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a nice year. Wonderful. Happy for everyone.